The man behind that message joins us now, the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy. Mr. Secretary, great to see you. Always, sir.
Great to see you, too.
Indeed.
Thanks for having me.
How much money are we talking about? And how many states are we talking about in terms of possible defunding because they won't follow the law?
Well, put up the map and look at the blue states, Dagan. We're talking billions of dollars, right? So, again, if you're not going to cooperate with ICE, if you have DEI policies where you're going to discriminate against a certain class of people within your state, even if you give driver's license to illegals, we're going to look and say, hey, you know what? If you can't comply with federal law, why are federal tax dollars going to go and fund your infrastructure? And again, hopefully this will incentivize those states to get in line with common sense American principles and policies, which the president has laid out. And if they do, they don't have a problem. But if they don't comply, we're not going to approve their grants and the flow of billions of dollars into their states.
And Mr. Secretary, you're going to do more than just withhold money. It sounds like it's going to be a audit process. You're going to dig into what's happening. So a lot could be revealed about how some cities or some states have not followed the law and what that means for their own citizens when they can't tap into federal money because they simply don't want to do what the federal law requires them to do.
Yeah, and again, there's one option where you could say, we're not going to send you these dollars if you have these policies. That's not what we're doing. We're saying we're going to give you all the money that you've requested or you're entitled to, or the grant projects that are really good for the roads and bridges or trains in your community. You just have to certify that your state actually matches up with federal law. And again, I think a lot of states are going to have to make the choice. To your point, Brian, do I care more about illegal immigrants and fighting ICE than I do about the billions of dollars that come to my state that are going to fund my roads and bridges? Or do I care more about giving illegals driver's license than I do about the train project that I have in my state? And again, we have, our department is massive. We do airports, we do roads, bridges, trains, ports, pipelines. It's a massive space, and so they're going to be confronted with a choice. Do they want to get in line, or do they want cash for projects? And again, I think that the ideology, Brian, that they have in these liberal states, they might forgo the money. I don't think it makes sense. I think their constituents will be angry, but again, they have that choice to make politically. What do they want to do?
Right, and this leads me to, is New York State going to fall in line with what the Department of Transportation...
Is that serious, Dagan?
What?
Are they really going to fall in line, New York?
No.
What are your odds on that, sir?
Are they going to step up and get rid of the congestion pricing? So there is a legal fight afoot between the MTA, New York State, and the Department of Transportation over your efforts to end the congestion pricing in New York. And it's turned into, my words, a bit of a soap opera in the last day or so. There are reports that the Trump administration has sidelined the lawyers who did an oopsie and filed with the judge in this case an internal memo that was then rescinded, but it revealed that that there were doubts that they cast on your case legally on the congestion pricing. And I just want to know your thoughts, but really, what is the legal road ahead for you on fighting the congestion pricing in New York?
So again, this was the Southern District of New York. I imagine that these are, maybe some more woke-minded prosecutors or attorneys in the Southern District, and they wrote a memo that we frankly disagree with, and then they submitted their memo that we disagree with to the court. And either this is gross incompetence, stupidity, or it's part of their resist movement. I don't know what the answer is, but massive mistake. We disagree with it. Here's the problem, Dagan. You can drive on a freeway. There's a fast lane, a fast pass that you can pay extra tolling to get around the traffic and move more quickly. We even have toll roads in America. But always in America, you have a free pathway to get from point A to point B. This is the first time in New York City, this cordoned area, you have to pay $9 to get into the cordoned area. There's no free access point. So what's happened is poor people, middle income people can't afford to drive in. And so the rich elites, they get to use the roads because the poor and middle income people are not on them, and they love it. It's way faster for them. But again, we don't have a system in America where the elites get to use the roads that the middle class and poor people actually paid for. That's not the system. That's what Kathy Hochul has set up. But here's another point of our case. All of the money that they raise on this toll into the cordoned area, all of it goes to the MTA, which for the rest of America, that's their subway system, their transit system. This is the first time that all the money doesn't go back to roads. It all goes to a different program, which is subways and buses. Never happened. This is not the intent of Congress. And by the way, Dagan, they want people to ride the subway, but the subway is dirty. The subway is dangerous. And I've said, hey, clean up the subway, and I've gotten massive resistance. People don't feel safe on it, and they refuse to kick out the homelessness and the mentally ill people on the subway and make it safe for the average everyday rider who just wants to get into the city safe. And if they can't get in safe, they want to drive their car, but they can't afford it. So this is a war on middle-income Americans that Kathy Hochul has implemented in favor of her rich friends who fund her campaign, instead of going, you know what, my job is to look out for every single New York or someone in New Jersey and not pricing them out of using America's road system, which is what she's doing.
So you talk about this kind of left-wing desire to get everybody on a train. Maybe the most famous train in America right now is the California high-speed rail system, which is not so high.
Now, I call it the no-speed bullet boondoggle.
Right, which is exactly true. Their CEO came out and kind of admitted, like, it's just been rocky from the beginning. I know you've been on the ground looking at this thing, but it's such an important case study because this is kind of the dream of the left. And when you see their dreams try to become reality, the one thing that's missing, apparently, is reality.
Well, Brian, first of all, I would love to have high-speed rail in America. I think it would be really wonderful. This was the first big project. A rocky road, yes, it's been 17 years. They've spent $16 billion and haven't laid one high-speed rail track. They have nothing to show for this project that they envisioned 20 years ago. And so we give money at the federal government level to fund this project. We've given a grant. It's under review right now. If they haven't met the terms of the grant, we're going to pull that money back, billions of dollars. But if you're going to promise people high-speed rail, build it for them. Let them experience it. If you go to Europe, you go to Asia, there's beautiful high-speed rail that works for the people. In America, we don't have it because these liberals get the cash for it, and then they don't build it. And by the way, there's a lot of grift. I think a lot of people got rich in California off the billions of dollars that were spent. Who those people are, those questions should be asked. Gavin Newsom, he's to blame. Again, you promise people in California rail, build it. Right now, Brightline West is building a high-speed rail between Las Vegas and LA. It's going to happen in a few years, but it's a public-private partnership where they're actually going to build high-speed rail so Americans can experience it in this country. Those are the kind of projects that we want to invest in. We want to pull the money from the projects where they don't build anything. They just spend money.
The estimated cost from the Committee to Unleash Prosperity for this California boondoggle from hell is $128 billion since 2008. In Florida, again, rail from Miami to Orlando, boom, done,
Works.
but not in California. Before we go, Mr. Secretary, the Department of Transportation is hosting sessions on how to handle amid the job cuts, your strong emotions. What?
Yes.
Yeah. What? This
What?
is your idea?
So this was an idea of the staff at DOT. And again, as people are going to transition out of the federal government and to get some job training as they go into their next career, that's a nice thing to do, Dagan. I'm a nice guy. You know that. I sat by you for a couple years. The problem is the staff inside the DOT has been somewhat offended that we've offered them some counseling services as they leave government service and probably go out into the private sector. And again, this was a career staff idea. We're like, okay, we should help. And then the career staff got angry about it. So again, you can't please anybody, but the reason they're angry about what we're doing is we're just too nice, right? We're just too nice and try to offer too many services. But to the point, Dagan and Brian, I think it's important. We're trying to bring down the size and scope of government, trying to make it more efficient. It's gotten bloated, especially under the last 4 years of Joe Biden. And we're going to ask people to do more with less and still build the great projects that connect our country and move our people and move our products. And we can do that. Again, they should work as hard as the two of you do at Fox Business. We do that, and everyone does it. We can do a lot more with a more limited staff.
But I shouldn't be working in the Department of Transportation because I work so many hours, the whole right side of my face is numb, and in transportation, that is so dangerous.
It's never dangerous. If you want a job, come on over. We can work again together.
No.
But then who's going to do the bottom line?
No.
Mr. Secretary Sean Duffy, a belated but blessed Easter to you and your family, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Back
Good to
at
see
you.
you.
Thank you both.
God bless you.